at the beginning of 2013, you came out with what was deemed at the time a very bullish thesis. You said S&P to 1,500 or to 1,700 by 2015.
That was actually 2 years ago in 2012, the summer. Not that I remember it at all.
Yeah, and you just kept going with that theme, and people called you a permabull. They said, "Oh, Scott, it's irresponsible to give out these bullish theses with all the ills that plague the Fed and the economy and all that type of stuff." Turns out your only mistake was that you weren't bullish enough. Is it
Right.
Is it the fact that the market had consolidated for that long period of time? Is that what led you to believe that we could get a big bullish run in the stock market?
If you just Google the segment of how long can this bull market last, I did it with Jim Cramer from the street. It shows a chart. It shows a chart of the roaring 80s, the go-go 90s, which you had huge decade moves, and then pretty much from 2000 to 2010 or so, we were in that decade consolidating those two levels, or those two decades, so to speak. So the chart that I went over is the double top at 1576, which we weren't too far away. So in my opinion, using technical analysis, you break out of a decade channel and you get rid of a double top that controlled the tape for a while after massive consolidation. If we broke above it and closed above it, okay, what would the measured move be? Probably close to 1,700 or so. So I tried to be realistic. I didn't say, I didn't try and give expectations where it could happen in 6 months. I said by 2015 and 1,700, and as long as you have the right path, what I tried to do is I just tried to give people a roadmap to stay in the market. So then every time they read the headlines how there's going to be a crisis or devastation or a government shutdown or Syria, that they don't veer off the path. But really, that whole projection came from technical analysis, reading the charts, and then watching it get confirmed along the way with that series of higher lows we've seen in the markets over the past 2 years themselves.
This sort of reminds me of the way successful people approach goal setting, is that they say you should have short-term, intermediate-term, and long-term goals every single day on a day-to-day basis. You don't focus on the long-term goals, but you keep them sort of, above the bathroom mirror to keep you with an eye on the prize. And that's sort of what it sounds like your S&P thesis is that, you're not going to be sitting just long in S&P
Right.
fund for that period of time, but you sort of keep in the back of your mind that there's a whole lot of reasons why we could continue towards that target.
Yeah, and we've done many different presentations on how to potentially use some chart patterns to then navigate that road to 1,1800 where you could feel comfortable. So you're not all in with the ebbs and flows of the market, whereas you could have, first you could either have like a monthly plan where you put monthly funds in every month, so you cost average into what could be your long-term thesis, which is your long-term goal. So like you said, you break it down into intermediate. Just say you're allocating 90% to the market, and we get a head and shoulders top, looks like it's going to trigger, leaders act faulty. You know what? You go from 90% invested, you pull it down to 60%. Then if we pull back to trend lines that have held 2 months later, everyone's crying, the volatility's here, the market's done, and we get a red dog reversal, or we get some kind of reversal pattern. Then you say, oh, look at that, we just pulled in 7 to 9%. I didn't take that pain to the downside because I knew some kind of background in technical analysis. Let me go back from 60% market exposure to 75%. So this way you feel comfortable that you're actually making some extra alpha navigating those trends. So your long-term goal is 1,700 or so, but along the way you make 7-8 adjustments based on the market dynamics to keep you comfortable and make you feel like you're maybe even a little smarter than the next guy, because everyone likes to feel a little smarter.